What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Revived. I am your host, as always, Shane Craig, and joining me is the lovely Jessi Craig.
Howdy.
It's been another month. I can hardly believe another month has gone by. So that means it is, of course, time for another episode of Podcast Revived. It honestly did kind of sneak up on me. I have no concept of time any longer. Like, I was thinking about what we were going to do today, and I was like, oh, it's the end of the month. And so that means we need to do one of these. And I had no prep, you know. I haven't really thought about what this episode's going to be. I kind of had one general idea, one general thought. And we're just going to kind of roll with it and just kind of see what happens. So.
Yeah, I had actually been wondering like when we were going to do our next episode. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let him decide.
Like, are we still doing that podcast?
Are we still doing the podcast?
Is that a thing that still happens? I don't know. Well, it is. It's still happening. And I have to remember this time to do all the things I have to do with it, make it into an MP3, put it on the website, because I nearly forgot that last time because I get rusty. A month is enough time for me to get rusty. So hopefully that's not going to happen again this time. Hopefully I will remember what I am doing. So I think in the last month, I think that the weirdest thing that's happened for us, you'll probably agree with me, is that for some reason we've both started playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And I don't really have an explanation for that. Like when Pokemon Go came out in 2016, which, by the way, yes, it's been 5 years, if you can remember when that started, because it was a big deal there for a minute. I got it, I tried it, I played it, and I was like, it just didn't do anything for me. So I stepped away from it. And I was hanging out with a couple of friends, and they were talking about a Pokemon. They were trading a Pokemon. And I was like, you guys playing Pokemon Go again? They're like, oh, no, we just never stopped playing. We've been playing the whole time. I was like, what? Why? Like, am I missing something? Is there something about this game?
6
years? for 5, it's been 5 years now, yeah.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
So I was like, what am I missing here? Is there something? Clearly, I've missed out on something. And so I asked a bunch of questions and I downloaded it, and it's kind of got its claws in me for some reason.
Because there's like 200 more Pokemon now.
I think there's 1.2 million Pokemon now. I think that's the exact number. It feels like that.
I would have believed that.
I'm constantly seeing stuff and I'm like, what even is that?
What is this?
There is a Pokemon now that is literally just 2 gears together.
Clank.
I saw
or Clang.
Over a Pokestop, or a gym rather. I saw the gears, and I thought in my mind, oh, maybe that gym's like under construction or something, Because I'm like, I don't know. And then I realized that that's just a Pokemon. It's just a Pokemon that's 2 gears. Like, what even? Yep. It's nonsense.
That's Clang. Yeah.
Total nonsense.
I want to show off my awesome person, by the way. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, you clicked on your Totodile. Oh, yeah.
That's
Crokinole.
No, he's evolved.
Yeah,
Crokinole.
he's evolved now.
He was cuter as a Totodile. But yeah, that's my really awesome. It's a Magikarp hat. And my whole outfit is just Magikarp themed. Yeah. So I'm pretty proud of that.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
I don't know what I enjoy about it. Like, there's something about, like, it's not, like, necessarily, like, the completionist in me, because I know that I'm never going to catch them all. There's way too many.
You might.
But it's like, you see something, and you're like, ooh, man, I'd really like to have a Gyarados, and then you try and catch a bunch of Magikarp, and you're, like, working towards a goal. There's something about it, and the battling system kind of sucks because it's mostly just furiously tapping your screen.
Yeah, and you can't use your items, which I feel like is not cool because that's not how you play Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's like, so simplified. It's just tapping. It's basically, it's learn the type advantages and then tap your screen furiously. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole battling system. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
I get that, but I want to, like...
I wish it was deeper.
I don't know. It just kind of makes me a little bit mad because I feel like you could almost have a chance against some of the Team Go Rocket or whatever like their leaders. There's a
Yeah.
guy named Cliff that's one of their leaders. I beat him like twice, and now I can't beat him at all because he has this stupid Aerodactyl that I can't beat. But if I had my items available, I could revive my Pokemon, bring them back in. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be probably a disadvantage for me, but I could still try and get them.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Yeah.
just stuck.
There's something fun about it, and there's also like I do enjoy that, like in our area where we live, there are Pokestops and gyms literally within walking distance, and I not by walking distance I mean like less than 15 minutes walking distance. There's like what 5 or 6 gyms and probably 20
Yeah.
Pokestops. Like we're just covered in them.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
briefly froze there, but I think you've returned. So
Same here. You froze.
okay. So, I mean, it's, on a nice day, you're like, well, let's go walk around the neighborhood, which we do anyways, but it kind of gives you an incentive to go walk around the neighborhood, to go
Yeah.
hit your Pokestops, to get more Pokeballs, and then you're like, oh, there's a thing over there, I gotta go do that now. So, I don't know. I can't really explain, like, if someone's like, oh, is Pokemon Go good? I'd be like, I don't know. I'm playing it, and I look at it a lot during the course of the day. I check on it a lot, but I don't know if I'm enjoying it or not. I think maybe I
I will
am.
say this. I enjoy it. It's good. I'm a little frustrated that I mean, we're lucky enough that we have all these around us to walk around, but like, man, if we didn't, that would
It'd be
be
hard.
so difficult because we would have to like get in the car and drive every single time, and then you're not supposed to drive and play Pokemon.
You don't want to do it when you're cruising at highway speeds, careening off the
Right.
road.
But
Probably
it's
don't do it when you're like cruising down Broadway. You're gonna murder
yeah.
somebody. It's
But
probably not
like
a great time to try it.
half the time when you're riding around and you're trying to get the
You're the
Pokestops and spin,
passenger, and you're the passenger.
yeah.
It still just won't let you do it, which is a
Yeah.
little bit frustrating.
Which I'm pretty much always the passenger.
One thing I've also been enjoying is that like when I pull it up on here, a lot of people are like, I see people all the time like, oh, it's too narrow on the Z Fold. The screen's too narrow. You can totally play Pokemon Go on the outer screen. It works fine. It's totally doable. And then the cool thing about it is that yeah, let's say you're there, you're on your outer screen, and then you see something that you want to do, like, oh, that's a Pokemon I really got to focus on. Well, then you just do this, and then you got like a whole different kind of experience to catch the Pokemon on, and it's way easier. And I personally really have enjoyed playing it on here in particular because the narrow screen is not a disadvantage on this game. And then when you want to have it on a tablet, it's even better and it's even easier
Yeah, and then
to use.
you also split screen a lot
Yeah, like
with
yeah,
Pokemon Go.
that's yeah, like so a lot of the time, like if whatever, like I've got a setup where it's like YouTube Music and Pokemon Go, so that I can quickly fire that up, and you wind up getting, and it works perfectly that way. So that's pretty cool. So like one thing I'll do is like I'll put it in my dock and I'll load them both up, and then that way it's sitting there, and even though I'm driving, it still kind of thinks I'm walking, so I'm like trying to like hatch eggs. I'll leave it there, so it's like it's aware. It's because I don't like having the background track, because it kills your battery. So just have it there while
Yeah.
I'm driving, and it thinks I'm walking, so I'm working on progress towards things, and that works really well. So that's all very strange and weird to me that it's something that I've been enjoying, and I don't know. It's weird
Can
because
you
it
really believe it's been 5 years?
doesn't. It feels like it's been a lot less than that, and simultaneously it feels like it's been longer than that. I have no explanation. It's very strange. So let's talk about. I'm gonna tell a story now. I'm gonna tell the story of the Z Fold 2 ordering and returning process. We're gonna quickly run over what happened, and I'm going to tell a bit of a story that Jessi is not even aware of because I didn't tell her any of this as it was happening because I didn't want to stress her out because I was stressed a bit about it, so I didn't want to tell her.
That's good.
So because it's just seemed unnecessary because there's nothing she could do about it, nothing I could do about it really. So like why would I just pull her into the stress with me for nothing? So I just didn't tell you. So this is what happened. So if you guys remember initially, I ordered the Z Fold 2, and then like before it shipped, like 2 days later, they ran a deal where if you ordered the Z Fold 2, you would get the Galaxy Tab S7, which is not in here, for free. It's like a $700 tablet or whatever for free. So I was like, well, shit, I just ordered this thing. I haven't even shipped it yet. I want the tablet. Like, that's a $700 value right there. So I go on their support and I talk to them like, hey, I just ordered this thing. Tablet's now a thing. I want the tablet as well. And they go, okay, let's look at this. And then they get back with me and they say, oh, well, we can't add the tablet on. You'd have to reorder. And I said, well, I financed Ethereal's financing because it offers long-term financing. The monthly payment is cheap and whatever. Makes it easy. And then on top of like 100-day return policy. So I'm looking at like 3 months of a low payment to decide if I want to keep it or not. And if, I don't, then it's like, oh, well, I'm not, whatever. So I'm like, well, shit. Okay. So I'm like, cancel my order. And they're like, okay, we'll cancel your order. It's not been shipped. No big deal. So then I order. So waiting on that to cancel. So then I order another one with the tablet coming, right? So then they get back with me and they say, oh, we can't cancel your order. It's coming to you anyways. Just return it when you get it. Okay, I'm a little irritated, but like whatever. So it gets here. I open it up and I do an unboxing and I play with it for a couple days. And then right about the time that the one I'm going to keep is arriving, I return it. Couple days go by, then I get the one I'm going to keep in the mail as well. I'm thinking, okay, we're good. So I've already sent the first one back. I've got the keeper and I've got the tablet. Took a little bit longer to get the second one in, but whatever, I've got it, we're fine. I get an email about a week later that says it was March the 8th. That's how long this has been ongoing. March the 8th. And it says, your return has been denied. And I say, the fuck, because my FedEx tracking shows Guadalupe signed for this bitch in Corpus Christi, Texas. or the name was Guadalupe was the name. I remember this. March 8th, Corpus Christi, Texas, right? So I'm like, you've got the phone.
You, Guadalupe.
Guadalupe, this is on you. So you've got the phone. So like, what the fuck? So I bypass the chat this time because they've already pissed me off on the chat with some other things earlier, where it took them like 2 weeks to ship me the one I'm keeping, and it took them 3 days to get me the first one. That was pissing me off. Oh, it just takes a while sometimes. Like, fuck you. Took you 2 days or 3 days the first time. I got the tablet here in 3 days. Why is this phone taking 2 weeks? I want it. Anyways, I called them this time. I'm like, hey, you've got my phone, but you're telling me that the return's denied. Lady's like, yeah. So she looks into it and she's like, yeah, the tracking says it was received at our warehouse. They have it. I'm like, so can I have the lots of money back? Credited back to my account? Because that's a lot of money. She's like, yeah, I'll escalate this and we'll email you back within the next 2 days. 3 days go by. So I call them back. I'm like, hey, what happened in 3 days? And they go, yes, let us look into this. And I said, and also, y'all said you're going to email me, and nobody emailed me. So I'm pissed off at this point. This is a lot of money, and you're fucking around with me here, and I'm not into it. I'm not enjoying my time here. So this guy's like, he's super understand. Oh, yeah, I totally understand. That's a lot of money. Like, we'll get this straightened out. So then he's like, let me escalate this. I'm going to send you an email, and if you don't hear back from me within 48 hours, reply to that email, and I will give you an update. All right, ma'am. Whatever. 2 days go by for nothing. I'm like, this is insanity. Like, I'm gonna pull up here while I'm doing this when that last email was. I think I've still got it in my trash here. So 2 days go by. I respond to the email and I'm like, hey dude, what's going on? Still waiting on this. So I finally got the resolution here on the 26th. So from the 8th to the 26th, this was going on.
What did they say was the reason?
They just don't know where the phone is, evidently. They just didn't know what the fuck was going on. So this time he goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. I've talked to some people, and we've determined that the package you sent back is to the ounce the same weight as what we sent you. They lost it. That's what happened. They lost it. So someone signed for it, and then someone went, whoop, and maybe they went, whoop, into a pocket, and they just kept it or something. So they lost it. But then they said, the package you sent us was to the ounce the same weight as what we sent you. And I was like, yeah, it's because it's the same fucking thing you sent me. It's the phone.
What does that mean?
That's why I sent it back. So they said, because of that, we're going to go ahead and process your return. Even though we don't know where the phone is, we're going to go ahead and refund you that total because we're pretty confident you did, in fact, send us that Z Fold 2 back. He's like very distracted.
There's an old man in a van who's like driving back and forth on the road. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out what he was doing. He was like driving.
He's probably looking for his lost child. That's a story we won't get into.
Yeah, probably.
But that sometimes happens here. Yeah. Sometimes lost children just wander down the streets and no one knows who they are. We're gonna leave that a mystery for you guys to think about. He's okay, probably. Probably he's okay. He went back from whence he came. Whether or not that means he's okay or not, we don't know. But anyways, so on the 26th, I get an email saying your refund has been processed. I checked out the account. The money's back on that credit account. So everything's okay. Took them from the 8th to the 26th to do this. They lost the phone. That was very stressful. I was getting very upset, very irritated. I think I called them 3 separate times to get updates on this for them to go, we do not know. We do not. I will escalate this to the next level, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
They're like, we don't know what happened in Texas.
In Corpus Christi, Texas. We're in India, and like this is not like a race thing at all. So like, don't even go there. Don't even go there.
It's about outsourcing.
Because how the fuck can they help what happened in Corpus Christi, Texas, when they're in India? They're not near it. How do they know anything? I will call someone. Like, I'm calling you and you can't help me. That's what irritates me. And then it always cracks me up when, and like, maybe I'm just totally wrong on this, but like, I feel like people in India's name aren't like Karen. Like, I feel like that's not their name.
It's always like Kevin and like Jason.
And like, I'm not even like upset. Like, it's just weird that you're lying to me. Like, I'm just like weirded out that it's like, I'm not stupid, Kevin.
You're supposed to be helping me.
Why are you lying to me? This is not a good. This is not a good foundation to begin a relationship with an immediate lie. It's like, oh, well, then my name's Jeff now.
I'm not Shane. Whoa,
I'm Jeff.
Roberto.
And I'm from Knoxville. Like, it would make no sense. Like, no one in Knoxville's name is Roberto.
Yeah, it is.
That's just weird. That's just
a lie.
It's just weird to me.
I know a lot of Robertos.
Roberto. But they don't say it like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was how that all went. So overall, I really liked the Z Fold 2. I really hated every possible thing about dealing with Samsung. Every single thing that's happened has been bad. So
why is that the case?
A little plus. I don't know, but it's been horrible, and I don't know. I don't know why it's been this bad, but it's been really bad.
Also, like, what if you had returned the phone and it wasn't to the ounce? What if like you had forgotten to put like a paper in there or something?
Yeah. Oh, this was 2 pounds and 6 ounces. Nothing we can do. Nope. You're fucked. I guess I would have been getting a fucking lawyer or something, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you do? Like, it's not like it's like a $500 phone, right? Like, this thing's expensive as shit, you know? So
I'm sure that wouldn't be the case. I'm sure you could just be like, hey, like, seriously,
Go talk to a Guadalupe, all right? Figure it out. Yeah. You get on a plane. You get on a plane in India. You fly to Texas. You find this phone. Or else. So that was all very frustrating. I've been getting a question a lot, and it's totally reasonable, and I totally understand why I'm getting it. And the question has been, which do you prefer now, the Z Fold 2 or the Surface Duo? And I got it
I guess the Fold.
I got it on my last live streams, and I said I don't know. I don't know yet. It's been about a month now, right, since I've had the Z Fold 2. And that's a long time. But it's still so hard for me to say what I like better. Because it's like, so the question isn't what do you like better, the Z Fold 2 or the Surface Duo? The question is, what do you like better, your Surface Duo or your Z Fold 2? And that, I'm gonna say it's the Z Fold 2. Because my Surface Duo acts fucking stupid a lot of the time. The Z Fold 2 has been 100% perfect the entire time I've had it. It has never done anything weird at all. At all. Like, and I don't even mean like I'm in an app and it like closes itself, which the Duo did that a lot too. Like Twitter would just shut off. Twitter would just close. I have to open it back up again. And I don't mean like minimize, like it would just close. Like then I would have to scroll all the way back to where I was to continue looking at news. The Z Fold 2 has been 100% the entire time. If it were a Surface Duo that worked as intended, this would be a very different conversation. And it would be much, much, much more difficult for me to answer that. Because I still love the form factor of the Surface Duo. I still think that the multitasking is superior on the Surface Duo. And every time I pick up the Duo still and just open it, I'm just like, it feels so nice. And I love the way it looks. But my Surface Duo is a little troublesome. And after playing with it, after the March update, it's a little bit better. But it is not... My Duo on its best day is like 75% as stable as the Z Fold is any day. I see this all... I have a really hard time with this too. I see people post all the time, like they'll take a picture with their Duo and then they'll post it on the Facebook group or on the Reddit and they'll say like, I think the camera's fine. That's so subjective because okay, like your mom, the phone that she uses, her camera, I'm sure is trash, but she's probably not bothered by that. She's just, it's just a phone. I don't really care about the camera. There's a difference between like the Duo being like having a camera that's like for camera people and being just like on par with anything in its price range. Like, I think that's what bothers me about it is that it's $1,400 and the camera is as bad. You could buy a $300 phone that would have a camera that would absolutely trash the Duos. Yeah. For $300. Yeah. $200. I could find something for sure, like a Pokémon or something. It would murder it. Yeah. So that's another part of it for me as well. To go outside and to be able to pull it out of my pocket, double click the power button, there's my camera, and to be able to take a good picture like that. Just anytime I need to, good picture, lock it back, put it back in my pocket. No fiddling, no screwing around with orientation. No and waiting shutter for the lag.
Phone to just work.
Those are the things. It is not because the Duo is better at multitasking. It's not because its battery life is a ton better, although it probably is a little bit better. It's not because I prefer the form factor. It's literally because it works all the time. That's it. Duo is a 10 out of 10 in multitasking, and the Fold's like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, and then like a normal phone's like a 4 out of 10. So it's close enough. And then you factor in that like it just works all the time, and then you bridge that gap. And in fact, for me, you go a little higher than the Duo. So I wind up being like, I just can't do it. Like I pick up my Duo and you know, just weird things happen all the time. The keyboard, like I filmed a video the other day talking about sort of this. And I opened up my Duo, and you're supposed to have 3 icons on the left and 3 icons on the right, like this. And so I just picked it up, and all 3 icons were on one side. And I couldn't make it go back over. Like, I just couldn't. And I was like, I literally hadn't picked it up in a day. I pick it up, and the first thing it does is go, I'm a piece of shit. Like, immediately. And I'm like, that's why I'm not using you. And I know that, like, people are, oh, it's not a big deal. Just the icons are moved over. I'm like, but it is. Because it's been 6 fucking months. And every time I pick it up, it's like, acts like a fucking idiot. I'm like, why? Because when I pick this thing up, it's exactly like it should be every time. That's what is driving me fucking crazy. Because the Duo's potential, this form factor's potential is incredible. It feels great. Just opening it, I'm like, it feels so good. And it looks...
Yeah, but every time you open it, something weird is happening. And I can attest to that.
The software is fucking terrible. Like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around how it can be this bad still. And there's people that will be in the comments here that will say, well, my Duo doesn't do those things. Well, then you're lucky as shit, because I've owned 2 of them, and I see comments all the time. Stop blaming me for my phone acting stupid. I'm not doing that. Like it's... you know, I take the picture and the shutter lags for 3 fucking seconds, so I blow the focus completely. Like, what do I need to do? What method do I need to employ to make that not happen? Like, come on. This is not my fault. Or I'm like about to take the picture and I'm not even moving and it switches screens and now it's looking back at me and I'm like, I didn't even move. I'm just standing here. Like, what am I doing? Like, what's your hot tip for how to make that not happen? It's just it's frustrating because I love the form factor. Is there someone out there with a Duo that isn't doing these things? You can't prove a negative, you know? Like, I can't prove to you that I'd have to gather them all up, every Duo, and then test it. So I can't tell you there's not one guy somewhere who's like, I have the perfect Duo, everything works great. Maybe it's Penos Panay, and that's why he's so like bullish on the device, because he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's fucking great.
He's got the only one that doesn't glitch out. The only good Duo out there. He's got it.
What I think is much more likely is that they all are glitchy in their own magical, wonderful, snowflake uniqueness type way.
Yeah.
And that different people have different thresholds for annoyance. And I think that that's what it is. I think that people that are like, mine doesn't bother me at all. It's not because you aren't having problems. It's more likely that you just aren't bothered by them. You're
more patient.
You're less neurotic than I am, perhaps. Yeah. And that's fair. And that's why I've always said, like, you know, the things I'm saying are not the same as me saying everyone's Duo is bad and you can't enjoy it. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, you can enjoy it. For someone, the Duo is the perfect phone, and maybe for a lot of people, but for me, the software is just so painfully bad that I just can't. I don't know. In particular,
can't excuse it anymore.
In particular, knowing that a device like the Fold exists that is so close to it in the things that Duo is the best at, it's so close to there, and it doesn't have any of these problems, and it's got wireless charging, and it's got a really robust screenshotting tool, and it's got a built-in screen recorder. And I mean, it's like, because the Duo has nothing. Like what's the added feature on the Duo that like Microsoft baked in this cool feature that really nothing? There's nothing. Like I've said before, the buttons on the Surface Pen still don't even do anything. You pair it to your Duo, and the buttons do nothing. Nothing. They haven't. It took them 6 months to make it so that a screenshot taken while you're in phone mode only takes a screenshot of the active screen. It took them 6 months. That's not a feature. That's just what should happen.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of a feature. Like, that's just fixing something that was broken. And we knew it was broken from the beginning. Like, that was an immediate complaint. Like, why would that take it? Because what you would get was a screenshot of both screens. One screen has content on it, and the other screen's just your wallpaper. Like, who would want that? Like, yeah, you want that thing you're doing plus some wallpaper, right? That's what you want. No one wants that. Nobody.
That's good.
We'll get back to you in 6 months. That ought to be enough time for us to fix that,
right?
Which I'm sure.
And listen, in the world of like phones and technology, that's not a short period of time anymore. People go through phones quickly now. It's not like it used to be back in the day where we would have our phones and we'd have to wait like a year or two to upgrade. People go through phones quickly now.
You know, like, we still don't have Android 11, and there are I think we're on the second developer preview of Android 12. Android 12 will be on the market before a $1,400 phone has received Android 11. I am almost certain that, look, I hope I'm wrong. I hope to fuck I am wrong. But my intuition is that it is entirely possible that Android 12 will be on the market before the Duo gets 11. I love the hardware. I really do. I love the hardware. It is so good, but it is so hard for me to use that phone. And it, you know, I'll tell you another thing. I've sold Surface Duos through my Amazon affiliate link, and I've watched them get returned. You know, I know this is not just people bullshitting, okay? Like, people are buying it and going, oh, God, and returning it within days.
Yep.
Because it's that bad for some people. Man, okay, like I talked about this in the beginning. I have a history of betting on betting on the wrong horse. I've done this a lot. And early on, I was like, boy, I hope this isn't the next Palm Prix, because I love the Palm Prix. And I excused it of so much. Like the original Palm Prix would slide out it'd be like that, and then it would expose the keyboard down here. There was a thing that the Palm Prix would do, that they called Oreoing, because the two halves would start to slip like this. Like you were going to like take an Oreo apart to like eat the icing. So they called it Oreoing. And I was like, well, mine isn't doing that. But like lots of people's were though, you know? So like I excused it of all kinds of shit because the promise was there and WebOS was there. WebOS was so far ahead of its time that I was like, no, double down. You got it's going to be great. And then it never was because they just couldn't get their shit together and it failed. And you know, I've bet on the wrong horse like that. If you like before smartphones were a thing, I owned a couple of Nokia internet tablets. How about you guys out there? You know the N770? I believe the N800 was the successor to that. There were these little tablets that ran like a build of Linux that was highly customized called like Maemo, M-A-E-M-O, something like that. And they were cool. And then like smartphones happened and then they were dead, you know? So I bet on the wrong horse there. You know, I guess it was kind of not the wrong horse because it was the only horse in the race. But like, you know, there was the idea that like Nokia was going to make like, oh man, the Nokia is going to like turn that into they're just going to give it cell data and it's going to be incredible. And then they tried it and it fucking failed because it just wasn't that good. It wasn't as good as people thought it was. There was way better stuff out there already. So I had that thought early on of like, I really hope this isn't the next WebOS. Or how about the next Windows phone? Because they don't have the greatest track record with making phones. And you know, we're gonna get a Surface Duo 2. We are. We're gonna get it. That is too far in development. We're probably gonna get an announcement in the next 2 months or something like that, and it's gonna be out by September. And we're gonna get another one. And I'm a moron, and I'm probably gonna buy it too because I'm an idiot. And that partially because I'm an idiot, and partially because I know that you guys would show up outside my house with pitchforks and torches if I didn't. But you guys need a little financial help here, right? Because it's just expensive. So, you know, look, I'm going to do it and hopefully it's way better. Hopefully the second iteration comes out and it's like, look, we put in a wide angle camera and the primary camera is you know, maybe they're going to use that Sony IMX that's like 48 megapixels and then the wide angle is like a 12 and it works good. And, you know, they're like, we've really focused on the software and the software is way better. And we've added wireless charging and NFC's in there now. And now we're going to really start working on added features in the software because we've got a good foundation in place. And maybe it's going to be fucking awesome. And, you know, it's like the first iPhone. I'm trying to remember. I may be totally wrong about this, but it's in my head for some reason that the first iPhone did not have 3G. And maybe I'm 100% wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right. I'm pretty sure the first iPhone did not have 3G. Which was like, not just like 3G wasn't like the brand new, like it had been around for a minute. Like other phones had 3G. So the first iPhone like wasn't perfect. It had some glaring holes. And then it turned into the iPhone. It's like maybe the Duo, you know, will be like, everyone look back and go, yeah, it was a rocky start, but they righted the ship, you know, Panay righted the ship and it was all good after that. I need to see the next one. They're going to have to show me the next one and they're going to have to wow me because it's getting progressively harder and harder to be bullish on the Duo. I would say this, if you're looking at buying one, don't. Like 100% don't buy one right now. Like for one, the problems I've talked about, which you may get lucky, you may not care. But two, like the other one's going to come out before too long. Like it's not that far out. It's March. And we know it's going to be
see a sneak peek.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Like I'll be so fucking excited. Like when they announce it, like I watched the presentation on the Duo. It's like a 30-minute long. I watched it like 4 times. Like I'm a moron. I just soaked this stuff up.
That.
It's so good. And it like just the promise. I still think the promise of the Duo is beyond anything that we have in terms of like that workflow. Like the Duo's multitasking is so easy. Like I'll have Twitter open and I'll be just scrolling through Twitter and then I'll think I want to look at Instagram, and then I'll just open Instagram, and I don't close Twitter. And it's not because I'm going to use them both. It's just because I don't have. That's you. I don't have to close Twitter. I can just open Instagram as well. So you wind up multitasking at times that you wouldn't on any other device because it's so easy here. And like I've said a million times, when it's working well, it's magical. It's a love-hate relationship.
I want to see a rugged duo too.
I don't think we'll get one. Although I do hope that for the love of God, that the plastic, that the sides are not, the edges is not made of plastic. It does seem rather. And then, of course, just the charging port. Like, I got people like, what should I do to prevent the charging port from cracking? I don't know. Like, do some kind of ritual with Satan and see if he'll grant you, like, in exchange for your soul. Like, I think that's the only way. Some sort of deal with the devil. Because it just seems like it's going to happen to everybody. Like, I honestly, when it happened, I was almost kind of relieved. Because I was like, nothing else to worry about now. Waiting. It's happened. And mine actually broke in a way that I think is okay, because like it's not going to spread. Like it is what it's going to happen. Just get over it, you know? Like don't worry about it. It's not going to break your phone. You're just going to have a piece of it that's going to fall off. For whatever. Like here's the piece of plastic that broke off of my Duo, and it's just sitting in front of my my monitor. It's just been sitting there since it fell off. That's a piece of my $1,400 phone that fell off because I had the audacity to charge it.
How dare you?
It's like, Jesus Christ. I like, people all the time will tweet at me and be like, I love my Duo. Like, awesome. I'm happy for you. That's great. I'm really pleased to hear that. It means nothing to me about my experience. Like, my experience is still mine. Like, it doesn't like... It's like you put two people on a roller coaster and one of them gets motion sick and the other one doesn't. The other one loves it, and they're like, well, you know, you're an idiot. I loved it. Like, well, I got motion sick. I have a whole different inner ear than you do, so I got motion sick. They don't cancel each other out. Like, you can have two different experiences. It's fine. It's fine. I guess that's enough of this. Kind of turned ranty. I think I was like letting out a little frustration about the Duo. I feel like
just a little bit.
I feel like it's betrayed me a little bit, you know? Like I don't feel like I dishonestly evangelized for it, because I don't think I've ever said anything that I would now find to be incorrect or dishonest about it. But it doesn't feel good to feel my optimism waning. Right? Because I was very bullish early on, but they've slowly eroded my trust and my expectations. And that hurts, because I was like, again, I wasn't a cheerleader,
but you could have been.
But I was an explainer. I wanted to explain to people, because people would be like, last gen specs, who needs that? That's garbage. So then I made a video playing PUBG twice on it to explain, well, no, that's actually fine. So I made all these videos explaining like what Duo's good for, why it's better than any other phone at these things, and why the specs are fine. And I did all these things. Like, I was a devoted, again, I don't want to say fan, because that's going to imply that I lost my objectivity, and I don't think that I did. But I was so bullish on the design, and I was so all in on the design, that I had hoped that we would be further along now than we are. Much further along now than where we are. Some things are better. The gestures are better. Objectively, they're better. The camera actually is better. It's okay for social media, but nothing more than. But there's so many things that are just still so broken and irritating. I will still obviously cover the Duo, you know. I will still use it when there's updates. I'll download the update and I'll play with it, and I'll do that for sure.
See what happens.
I'm going to continue covering it, but do I have the patience to put it in my pocket and carry it with me over, you know, out? No, I don't. I just don't anymore. Don't have the patience any longer. I'm curious to see how many things I've said will be taken the wrong way. How many things I'll have to explain. No, that's not what I meant. All right, that is the end of the episode. So hopefully you guys, you know, found some enjoyment out of this rambly, ranty episode. So this has been Podcast Revived. My name is Shane Craig. Thank you for joining me today, Jessi. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.